Wealth Quarterback LLC, a registered investment advisory firm located in New Jersey. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm or its representatives by securities regulators, nor is it an indication that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Investment advisory services may only be provided to clients in jurisdictions in which the firm and its representatives are appropriately registered or exempt from registration. You should not assume that any discussion or information contained in this broadcast serves as the receipt of or as a substitute for personalized investment advice from the advisor. Different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk, and there can be no assurance that the future performance of any specific investment strategy, or product, or any non-investment related content made reference to directly or indirectly in this broadcast will be profitable, equal any corresponding indicated historical performance level or levels, be suitable for your portfolio or individual situation, or prove successful. Past performance is not indicative of future result. Investment advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC. Tired of losing money in the stock market roller coaster? Frustrated with the government taxing you into oblivion? Worried about inflation? How do you prepare for so many financial uncertainties? Welcome to the show that will help you develop your game plan. The Financial Quarterback with Josh Jelinski. Josh is a noted financial advisor and president of the Jelinski Advisory Group, and he's here to answer your questions. Call into the show at 800-321-0710. 800-321-0710. Now, let's kick off your financial future. Here's Josh Jelinski.
Talking about a lot today. We're going to be talking about the ESG investing nightmare, and I'll tell you about another administrative nightmare coming. Democrats are pushing for a free IRS tax filing service. Meanwhile, CPAs and others are just up in arms. So we'll get your take on that. I want to hear from you. First off, 800-321-0710. Give us a call now. Do you think the ESG investing narrative, the government encouraging, we're going to encourage you to invest for environmental, social, and governance? ESG, in my opinion, has really been a question of, well, whose ESG? Those on the left, those on the right. If it was for just nonprofit on both sides to flourish, but I don't really see that. So we'll get your take on the ESG narrative. We're also talking about Democrats pushing for a free IRS tax filing service. Do you like that idea? And how soaring inflation may be a stealth tax because it will deliver you a higher tax bill, especially if you are a retiree, homeowner, or a high earner, and repaying a CRD, or COVID-related distribution. And if you win the Mega Millions jackpot, how much would go to taxes? And we'll take all of your questions on all matters financial. So if you have a question on stocks, bonds, annuities, ESG investing, now is the time to pick up the phone and call me, 800-321-0710. So first off, we will go to the question on everybody's mind. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, along with 22 more Democrat lawmakers, want to save you millions of dollars, Jim.
Yeah, right.
They will do your taxes for free. I don't know about you, when I first heard this, you know, if you're broke, you can get your taxes done for free anyway. There are free tax filing or very low-cost tax filing services at the library. There are senior specials now. Now, Jim, I believe you're a senior, so you could get the $40 ARP volunteer and do the taxes. I'm sure there's going to be a filing fee. So do you really want the government doing your taxes? I don't know if that's a good idea. So Senator Elizabeth Warren, along with 22 more Democratic lawmakers, want to save you time and money by pushing the IRS to create its own free tax filing service. I believe Newt Gingrich or Steve Forbes had the idea of your taxes should be done on a postcard. I liked that idea, but I don't like this idea. Some tax professionals say it's not a realistic plan for the overburdened agency. I want them overburdened. You know, CNBC, of course, is the source of the article. You don't know who are these people writing these articles, but you know what? I don't care if they're overburdened. I think they should be way overburdened, so much so that they go to a flat tax. So what say you? Give us a call, 800-321-0710, 800-321-0710. Some tax professionals say it's not realistic. I'd love to be proven wrong, says Phyllis Joe Kuby. But I fear an administrative nightmare. She is the president of the New York State Society of Enrolled Agents. So with a stroke of a pen, the government could put you out of work. Imagine that. Imagine if they could do this. How many CPAs, enroll agents will be out of a job? But did they think about that? No. I do. I love you, Mr. CPA. Miss Enrolled Agent. Yeah. So the bill would replace the free file and allow for the return free filing. The Senate bill, known as the Tax Filing Simplification Act. Always remember, the financial quarterback's rules for bills. Tax Filing Simplification Act directs the IRS to create a free online service. Directly with the agency reps, Katie Porter and Brad Sherman have introduced companion legislation is the House. The current IRS Free File program is a public-private alliance with the Free File Alliance, a nonprofit coalition. So that already exists. I was right. So what is the cost to replace this? Although roughly 70% of Americans are eligible for free file, only 3% of taxpayers use the service during the 2020 tax season. So if they ain't using free file, they ain't gonna use return free filing. This is idiocy. These people should be expelled from the House for idiocy. Brad Sherman was the same idiot, I think, who took on Bitcoin and other things. Here's the thing. Free File has been pleased to provide over $2 billion of free federal returns to tens of millions of taxpayers. 98% of those who use the product would use it again. Yeah, that's because they're broke and it's free. If it's free, it's for me, right? That's what my dad always said. The bill also aims eligible taxpayers to choose a return-free option, providing a pre-populated filing with the tax bill or refund already calculated. The average American spends 13 hours and $240 every year to file their taxes. It's too much time and money. So you know what? Let's abolish the IRS and return the income tax dollars to you. Let's not do this dumb idea. It may be possible to automate nearly half of the tax returns with information the agency already has, according to a working paper from the National Bureau of Economic Research. And that clause right there is why they're doing this. They want to automate 70% of you so that the other 30, they can use all the IRS agents to go after the business owner, the profitable, whatever, employee. Now, tax pros are saying that they can't handle another to-do right now, while tax experts applaud the desire to simplify the tax filing system. Many are skeptical about the Democrats' latest approach. You know what? That's not going to simplify jack. You know what would simplify it? You have do you like my idea, Jim? 3 tax brackets. 5, 10, and 15. So if you're not making anything, you have to pay 5%. What's 5% of nothing? Nothing. What's 5% of 10 grand? $500. You'd be done. You just paying your money. You don't have to hire an accountant. That would put some of the accountants out of business, but that would be smart, fair, because you want to have people at the very low strata paying a little bit, or else they're just going to vote themselves pay increases on somebody else's dime. Then you have 10% for the vast majority of people, and if it needed to be, so be it. Then you have a third bracket for the higher earners. That will be between 15 and 20. That way, if you add in state taxes, the highest bracket in the country would be like 31, 32 in California and New Jersey and those types of states. So I think a third of your money going to the government is more than enough. So give us a call, 800-321-0710. Now, how do you save taxes right now? Well, there are little known things in the tax code where you can get whoppum sock'em deductions of up to $300,000. Talking about defined benefit pension plans, and you're able to bless your key employees. You're also looking at 401ks, the Roth 401k, simple IRAs, SEP IRAs, solo 401ks. And I know 401ks have gotten some flack in social media, but that's how we have a vast majority of middle-class millionaires. So Dan Herron, a California-based CPA, echoed these concerns, pointing to burdens placed on the IRS through changing tax laws and added duties. The Taxpayer Advocate Service reported that 21.3 million unprocessed paper returns as of May 31. They're not even processing returns. An IRS spokesperson in late June said the numbers in the report were neither accurate nor the most recent figures. So does that mean they're higher or lower? The government is key at lying to us. 15 days to slow the spread. Wow, that turned into 3 years. And that was a Republican administration that started that. Return-free filing may cause missed tax credits. Tax filers choosing the return-free option may be subject to all sorts of potentially damning results. Ooh, this guy, he went out on a limb. That's Adam Markowitz. So far, all these quotes have been people trying to be nice. Adam Markowitz say if you want the tax-free, return-free option, you could have all sorts of damaging results. That's what I thought was going to happen. But we have to have that buried in the article. So, what do you think about this tax return filing system proposed by Elizabeth Warren? We're going to talk about that when we return. 800-321-0710. We'll be back after these messages.
Tune in to the financial quarterback Josh Jelinski this weekend and learn how to protect your financial future in a down economy. Josh and his team at the Jelinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the financial quarterback and count on Josh Jelinski to call the play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674. Or visit Jelinski.org. That's JALINSKI.org.
Tune in to the financial quarterback Josh Jelinski of the Jelinski Advisory Group this weekend and learn how to protect your financial future during these turbulent times. Looking to lower your taxes or need help securing your financial future? Then Josh and his team are the people for you. They're experts in financial economics with one mission in mind: to protect you and your investments. From their 27-point checklist to their one-of-a-kind financial quarterback approach, they help you achieve financial health and guide you through
Coming back. Stand by.
Inflation, looming recessions, and stock market meltdown. For financial security, call them now, 888-988-5674, and get your free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check.
Okay, we're going to go to the phone lines at 800-321. We also are live on Clubhouse, and Juliana had a comment on 401ks. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. Thank you. I just want to say people are condemning the 401k, but for the average employee, that is the sure way to have an additional income during retirement. So I really get disappointed when I hear folks discouraging people to put away money in 401k. And for self-employed individuals, that is where most of them leave money on the table by not setting up their SEP IRA, which is due to be set up by December 31st. And then you have till April 15 to fund it. So these are monies that people leave on the table every year. I see it and it breaks my heart. So I'm glad that you're talking about it. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people on social media are bad-mouthing the 401k. Why are they doing that? Generally, they're trying to sell you something else, like a REIT or a private investment or even life insurance. Now, I'm a fan of life insurance, but I believe in both and not either or. So you got to say, if somebody's bad-mouthing the 401k, why? You may not want to put all of your savings into a 401k, but if you're getting slammed with taxes, it's a great way to build wealth. You know, I've met more people, were regular people, but when they were in their 20s or 30s, they started saving 10% of their pay, and now they have $1 million, $500,000, $2 million, more than they could have ever dreamt of. And they're not attracted to the baller lifestyle. Also, I want to talk about that. A lot of you are attracted to influencers on social media potentially. You're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and you're seeing the person with the flashy watch, the flashy car, and you're being, think of like keep up with the Joneses-itis. Oh, I got to do what that guy is doing to be wealthy. Well, little did you know he rented the Lamborghini for a day so he could take video clips to make himself look really good. So the key is start saving 10 to 15% in your 401k now. If you don't owe a lot of taxes, do a Roth 401k. Consider cash value life insurance as a way to sock away money for your kids. Consider SEPs, consider Simples, consider Roths, consider annuities. We get a lot of people who don't like the market, and there are principal protected annuities, which are often subject to a surrender charge schedule. So be sure to check with your advisor about how many years the commitment is, as well as the 10% penalty-free withdrawal. But you got to realize there's so many options for you. The government, though, they don't give many tax breaks anymore. They give a tax break to you on your 401k, on your HSA, on your retirement plan, on mortgage interest for your home, but not really much more than that. So I'm an advocate of maxing out all of your savings vehicles. So max out your tax deferred, max out your tax free. So we're live right now on YouTube, taking questions via the YouTube chat box. We're also live on the Clubhouse, so we're taking your questions. Either raise your hand, or if you're too shy, just type the question into the chat box. Now, some experts see promise in the proposed legislation. I've advocated for this type of system for a long time, said Brian Strieg, a CPA in Austin, Texas. You know what, Brian? You're probably retiring next year. What about the CPA who just came up in the business? Most taxpayers don't need a tax professional to file their taxes because the cost of the preparation and advice is more than they would save in taxes. Au contraire, my dear. Maybe the cost would help them sock more money away. So I see this all the time. People doing a 401k or an IRA, they're not paying a lot in taxes, they should be considering a Roth. And you do that only if you have a professional who cares about you. As cost of living surges, so I do want your feedback if you have a question or comment on the IRS doing your taxes. Do you like it? I'd like your opinion on that. So, JC, would you trust the IRS to do your taxes? You're next with their free filing service.
Definitely not. But we may not have a choice in the future.
Exactly. That's where it's going, my friends. Just wait. All of these things are like test balloons. Oh, well, we don't have, the robots basically will be doing your taxes. They'll be calculating how much you owe. There already is AI. And that's why if you file basic returns now, some people are waiting months and months to hear back from the IRS for very simple things, or there are mistakes. So, yeah, for the vast majority of people, I think if we went to a flat tax system, this simplification is worth it. I do not think it's worth it when we have a Swiss cheese style tax system like we do now. So what's your take, folks? Give us a call, 800-321-0710. Now, I'm having a little fun. The IRS isn't doing your taxes, but it's the free filing service. They're retitling it. Think about how many billions of dollars they will spend on advertising, and they will get utilization rates of 3 to 5%. That's why I want you all to be students of the Laffer Curve. Do you know about the Laffer Curve, Jim?
No.
That's basically, we got to have Art Laffer on the show. Cal, get Art on the show. Art Laffer is occasionally on TV. Worked, I believe, in Reagan's White House in the 80s. He's an economist who basically says that there's like a bell curve where if tax rates get too high, receipts go down. So the actual opposite of the intended result occurs, because when taxes get too high, millionaires and billionaires, they just don't work, or they find ways to shelter their income. Now, sheltering their income is maybe through buying another business, and then that debt becomes a cost. So give us a call, folks. We're taking your calls on all matters financial. As the cost of living surges, Americans are wrestling with higher prices on day-to-day costs, including groceries, housing, or gasoline. But there's another sneaky expense that you didn't think about: higher taxes that may be costly for some taxpayers. Those most at risk of a tax-related surprise include retirees, high earners, homeowners, and residents of particular states. I bet you it's our state, Jim. According to CNBC, annual inflation we know rose by 9.1% in June, fastest pace since 1981, according to the Department of Labor. Each fall, the IRS makes inflation adjustments for the coming year on a range of tax provisions. The IRS boosted federal income tax brackets for 2022 and adjusted many other provisions, including standard deductions, 401k plan limits, and more. But other provisions remain unchanged and are not adjusted for inflation, leading to higher tax levies over time. It's a hodgepodge of things that get left out. This from CFP Larry Harris of Parsec Financial in Asheville, North Carolina. And it's not just hitting the wealthy. So essentially, inflation is causing your marginal tax rate to go up. There are lower limits now on taxes on Social Security benefits. So up to 85% of your Social Security may be taxable if adjusted gross income, levy-free interest, and 1/2 of Social Security benefits exceed $34,000. If you're single, $44,000 for married couples filing jointly. So this was passed by the Clinton White House in the early 90s. So nobody made a big deal of this, but Bill Clinton's White House approved a tax levy of up to 85% of the benefit that you're receiving from Social Security may be subject to ordinary income taxes. They have not raised that in, I believe, something like 30 years. So, can't believe was it 30 years ago that we had Bill Clinton as president, roughly? It's amazing. So about 30 years ago, we have not raised this limit with inflation. So seniors are already feeling the sting of tax time because the limits for levies on Social Security benefits have stayed the same, but then RMDs, which is the required minimum distribution from your IRA or 401k, you're taking that out. Many seniors that I talk to say, Josh, I'm in the highest tax bracket I've ever been in my life. Why? They have no more deductions. They're not putting as much in their 401k or IRA because they're not working, hopefully. They've saved enough to not work. They don't have any children in the house, and they don't have mortgage interest. So they've lost their three biggest deductions. Meanwhile, the IRS is not raising with inflation the amount that Social Security is taxed. I do have strategies for those of you who want to learn how to minimize Social Security taxes, and we can help you do just that. So folks, give us a call, 800-321-0710. Do we have any questions on YouTube, Jim? Check YouTube, go to YouTube, Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Also, folks, be sure to call me with any question you have during the break at 800-321-0710. If you're in Clubhouse and you have a question, we're going to go to Jennifer when we return about Roths. This is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Don't touch that dial.
Maybe it seems like prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Tune in this weekend to the Financial Quarterback to hear how Josh and his team can help you decrease your tax liability and lower your risk. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial.
Right back. Stand by.
You'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Tune in every weekend to the Financial Quarterback and call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check.
Taking your calls on all matters financial at 800-321-0710. Get my book, Retirement Reality Check, today. Go over to, you can call us at 888-988-JOSH if you schedule your free 45-minute review this week. Live on Monday, I have 2 spots left in Hackensack. It's rare that I have 2 spots left, but we're opening up 2 spots for those of you who want to meet me personally. In Hackensack, I'll also be in Toms River, New Jersey. We'll have advisors in Long Island, Connecticut, Florida, wherever you are via the power of Zoom. We have clients in most of the 50 states, and we would be happy to talk to you. And we have dedicated staff standing by live, 888-988-JOSH. Jennifer has a question on Roths. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hey, Josh, thanks so much for taking this question. Can you comment on what the backdoor Roth is and if it's potentially at risk for ending?
Well, the backdoor Roth has been talked about ending for years now, but it hasn't. So I would take advantage of that. First, what is the backdoor Roth? Well, it's great for those of you who make a decent income. You make too much money to do a regular Roth and put in 6 to 7 grand for your retirement, and it grows tax-free. You can pull it out tax-free, a Roth IRA, Roth 401k. It's one of the best benefits in the tax code. That, along with cash value life insurance, is a great way to store money tax-free, have it grow tax-free because you're paying for it. There's no tax loophole. You already paid the tax. It's an after-tax contribution. So There's a little known rule called the backdoor Roth, where you open up a non-deductible IRA, you don't get the deduction, and you call the company. About 30 days later, you say, I would like to convert my non-deductible IRA to a Roth IRA, and then you would pay tax on whatever the growth is for that period. Got to watch out for something called the pro rata rule. But other than that, it's a great idea to do because this may be the last year it can be done. So it has not been ended yet, although there's been great talk about it ending. So I hope that helps you. Any follow-up questions?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, next up, we're going to go to Tom, who is upset that his 401k has lost value. Just about many of you are annoyed that your money's lost due to a 401k collapse. Basically, your 401k has become a 301k overnight. Go ahead, Tom, over the last 6 months. Hi, Tom.
Yeah, how you doing?
I feel your pain. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, my wife and I both looked at our IRAs the other day after a year and went, holy crap, where'd it go? I was wondering if there's any way I could sort of safeguard what I have left. I built up a whole bunch in 13 years. I'm 57, and I never saved anything. And now I've been doing everything I can to take 15% out of my pay and her pay and invest it. And I have quite a lot in the stock market, but I'm just watching my 401k go backwards.
Well, that's a great point. There are 4 things you can do if your 401k has become a 301k. Number 1, you can do nothing. Long term, doing nothing and keep plowing money in is often the best thing. Now, I don't know what people give that tip, but I don't know what your 401k investing options are. They could be all duds. So, number 1, do nothing. Number 2, get your 401k choices evaluated. Maybe your funds stink in your 401k. Maybe you have better options. Can somebody turn his volume down because I'm hearing all the crackling? Bruce at this station, keep him muted until I call him again. Then, because I'm hearing a lot of feedback. So number 1, do nothing. Number 2, get your 401k options reviewed. Number 3, consider a volatility buffer. That is 1 to 3 years of your expected living expenses in retirement. Why do I say 1 to 3 years? Because sometimes it might take 3 years to recover from a bear market. Put that 3-year amount in the fixed portion. Some of you have a fixed portion. If you don't, we can talk to your HR department about allowing you to have a fixed option. I don't mean a money market where you're adding 0.01. There are fixed accounts right now earning 3% with some 401k vendors subject to certain terms of your employer coming on board, stuff like that. You could also look option number 4, diversify into principal protected things for a portion of your money, not the whole thing, because you're 55. You still got maybe 10 years away from retiring. You could look at cash value life insurance, principal protected insurance, also principal protected annuities. So there's a whole lot out there. I would not do anything rash. I would get the free review. Call us today, right now at 888-988-JOSH. I'd love to meet with you. Any other questions on that, Tom?
Actually, the investments I've had have been fabulous. In 13 years, I built up to $400,000 in my 401k, and I only make $100,000 a year.
Congrats.
So I was doing great until the past year, and everything just did a total turnaround, and that's why I was floored when I didn't want to look at it because of the politics and all the things going on, just going, okay, I was afraid. And then when I did look at it, I went, wow. So it all turned around because I was really, really doing well.
Well, volatility is a part of life. Generally, there's the 7 to 10 year cycle where from 2000 to 2002, accounts were cut in half. 2007 to 2009, nearly cut in half. 2020, COVID dropped down 37. We could certainly be in a prolonged bear market. So I wouldn't get out of all the market, but I would think about maybe diversifying into more conservative things. Okay? because we'd be
Very
certain
good.
to
Thank
help
you,
you
sir.
with that. Give us a call, 888-988-JOSH. We'd love to meet with you. Shake your hand, or we could do a Zoom call. And be sure I'll wear the Purell if I shake your hand. So next up, we got Gina. Go ahead. You're on with Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback.
Hi, Josh. I believe that you can gift to a child or grandchild $16,000 a year. If I wanted to gift stock, which I paid like $5 for, and the stock is now worth $50, when I gift them the $16,000, does it go back to my cost basis? So am I really only gifting the $5 rate rather than what the stock is today? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, when you gift, you transfer your basis to them. When you pass away, though, and you leave it to them as an inheritance, those shares get a stepped up basis and you legally avoid tax. So a lot of seniors do that. They gift when in fact they should keep the asset in their name and wait till they die, because then the heirs get a step up in cost basis.
Okay, but you are not allowed to, if you gift the way I'm talking about. That's just the way it is. It goes back to my cost basis, so I can't gift $16,000 of my cost basis.
You could certainly gift it, but then you gift the taxes. So that's whatever you want to do. Do you have money in cash at the bank? It'd be better to just gift that.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So I can really only gift what's worth $16,000 today, but it's going to show up for them.
No, you're allowed to give them $16,000 of stock. What I'm saying is the $5,000 basis carries forward to them. So let's say I'm your son, you give me $50,000 in this stock. You don't, well, you're really the 16, but you can do 16 to the son, 16 to the daughter-in-law, that, you know, up to 32,000, and we got to check the limits for the year, but 32,000, they go to sell it, that's not a tax-free event for them. They would have to pay taxes.
Right. Okay, you've answered my question.
But the thing that you, or if you sold it to then just give them cash, the taxes would go on your return. Now, what you could do is you could take already taxed money and gift that. That would be better if you want to do a gift. Or just allow allow it to pass when you pass, hopefully 20 years from now, 30 years plus. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in my 70s.
So, yeah. So maybe, let's say 20 years from now, you pass 25 years, then you get a step up in basis. Now, some people want to gift because they are more concerned with nursing home costs. So I will talk about that. There is an A side to estate planning and a B side. We'll talk about that later on, but we're going to, any other questions on that, Gina?
I think that you've answered it very well, and I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for listening, and folks, ping in your friends, type your questions in the chat box. Next, we're going to go to Brother Ted, who says, where's the best place to put money right now? My thinking is dividend stocks with real earnings. Now, that is one specialty that we have, culling the stock market universe for companies that we believe will be around in 5 years, that will outlast this recession, so that whether it's a minor recession or a major recession, everybody kind of agrees we're headed to a recession. But it could be short-lived, like the COVID one, or it could be very prolonged, like the 2000 to 2002 one. Nobody knows exactly what will happen. But here's the thing. Always focus on these 5 things. I'm going to give you those 5 things when we return. But first, call us. So I'm going to give you the 5 things to focus on about plowing money into things during uncertain times. And during the break, call me at 888-988-JOSH for the free 45-minute financial blueprint discussion. I'll be in person in Hackensack as well as Toms River this week. We have offices throughout the region. Also, we can meet with you all over the country via Zoom. So call us now, 888-988-JOSH. I have dedicated staff standing by live. So we help clients, many of whom already have a financial advisor, maximize income, minimize taxes, and enhance their wealth position. So call me right now, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Tune in to the financial quarterback, Josh Jelinski of the Jelinski Advisory Group this weekend and learn how to protect your financial future during these turbulent times. Looking to lower your taxes or need help securing your financial future? Then Josh and his team are the people for you. They're experts in financial economics with one mission in mind, to protect you and your investments. From their 27-point checklist to their one-of-a-kind financial quarterback approach, they help you achieve financial health and guide you through the hard times of high inflation, looming recessions, and stock market meltdown. For financial security, call them now, 888-988-5674, and get your free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check.
Tune in to the financial quarterback Josh Jelinski this weekend and learn how to protect your financial future in a down economy. Josh and his team at the Jelinski Advisory Group can help you lower your taxes and lower your risk in these uncertain times with a 27-point checklist designed to improve your financial health. Whether you're worried about runaway prices, fear of an upcoming recession, or a stock market meltdown, tune in to the financial quarterback and count on Josh.
Stand by.
Play. For a free copy of Josh's book, The Retirement Reality Check, call 888-988-5674. That's 888-988-5674. Or visit Jelinski.org. That's JALINSKI.org.
Hi, everybody. This is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback, and we're back. The 5 things to look for right now with all of this market uncertainty. You want to look at the 5 things with certain stocks. You want to look at, will this company be around in 5 years? Now, nobody knows exactly, but you can imagine which companies will be around. Meaning, second question, would I be comfortable holding this stock if it was cut in half? And you might say, well, I would be, because I believe Apple or Meta or Google will still be around. Number 3, how much cash is that company generating? Free cash flow, FCF. Number 4, price to earnings ratio. If it's 30 or higher, it's more at risk of a broad decline than if it's a 2 price to earnings ratio. I was looking at a stock this week in a very good industry with a 2 price to earnings ratio. Or a 5 or a 6. That's better than something many of these stocks that did really well don't even have earnings. So free cash flow, PE ratios, how much cash it's generating, would you be comfortable holding it in a 50% decline? And is this company going to be around in 5 years? So that's what you want to look for when looking at dividend paying stocks. I'm also going to give you 5 tips on what to do with volatility. But first, we have Tom, who has a question on RMDs. And folks, if you like what you're hearing, I'd love to meet with you and give you the 15 ways to save taxes guide. That's a meeting with me or the team. And there are 15 things you can do right now to lower your taxes. We'll give you that when you schedule and keep your no obligation review at 888-988-JOSH. Next up, Tom, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm at the age where I may be taking RMDs this year, depending on whether the Secure Act 2.0 passes or not. But my thought is the government should be issuing another moratorium on RMDs for everybody who has to pay, or a moratorium on taking the RMDs for everybody who has to take them. I know the value of my 401k has dropped quite drastically, and the RMD that I would be taking, I've lost maybe 4 to 5 times the value of that RMD already in 6 months this year. So I've talked to my senators and sent notes to my senators asking them to issue another moratorium, have another moratorium issued, so that RMDs can be postponed until the value of the 401s come up.
Well, that certainly would make a lot of sense, but you're talking about Washington here. So a lot of you are waiting with bated breath for a moratorium on RMDs like they did in 2020 during COVID. They did that also in the 2008 crash.
Exactly.
So what I would tell, if you're really waiting on that and you don't need the RMD to live, wait till December to take the RMD. That might be one solution.
Yes. Absolutely.
But don't wait too long, because if you wait too late into December, hey, the onus is on you. That's the other thing with RMDs. It's not the responsibility of the financial advisor, not the responsibility of the custodian. It is the responsibility of the taxpayer.
Right.
Because, you know, we have thousands of clients. We can't babysit everyone's RMDs. And you can call up your institution, set it up now for December 1st RMD. That way it's automatic. Mm-hmm. And if you have it where it's set every, August, you may want to call them and change it to December 1st. That way it gives you 30 days. So if the check doesn't come in the mail, you can re-request it, maybe with overnight delivery, things like that. That's the other thing. When dealing with money, try to request overnight stuff or 2-day tracking, because we've seen a lot of people have trouble with snail mail or getting checks many days out, which I don't know why, but it's craziness. Another waste of taxpayer dollars, right? So just keep spending our money. So give us a call, 888-988-JOSH. Now, somebody is asking a question on I-bonds. We'll talk about that. But did you have any follow-up questions, Tom? Okay, Tom's gone. Somebody says, can you talk about I-bonds and who it might be a good fit for? I-bonds pay something like 9%, and you go to treasurydirect.gov and buy them. You can't buy them through a financial advisor. You just go to treasurydirect.gov. Yeah, I met with somebody the other day, and that person, it was very interesting. The person said, I went to my advisor. They put me in tips, not in I-bonds. That's very critical to know. A tip is not an I-bond. So give us a call, 888-988-JOSH, for the free 15 Ways to Save Taxes guide. We help people just like you, and we do 3 things at our meeting. We show you ways to get greater income, show you ways to potentially lower your tax bite, and 3 ways to enhance your wealth. So call me now, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages.
Maybe it seems like prices can't get much higher, or that the stock market is headed for bear territory, or maybe you're worried about another great recession. Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback, can help you protect your family's financial future in times like these. Tune in this weekend to the Financial Quarterback to hear how Josh and his team can help you decrease your tax liability and lower your risk. Call 888-988-5674 to take advantage of Josh's 27-point plan to achieve financial health. And when you call, you'll receive a free copy of Josh's book, Retirement Reality Check. Tune in every weekend to the Financial Quarterback and call 888-988-5674 to receive your free copy of Retirement Reality Check.
We're back. Now, many of you are receiving a cost of living adjustment for Social Security and your payments are being increased by $92 a month, but it may jump by an estimated 10.5% in 2023, which would amount to another $175 monthly benefit, according to the Senior Citizens League. Leonard Berman of the Urban Institute says this: I think the intent was to have more Social Security benefits be taxable over time. And it was a way of slowing the hemorrhaging of the Social Security Trust Fund. Social Security Trust Fund may receive more than $45 billion from taxing Social Security benefits in 2022, up from $34 billion, according to estimates from the trustees. That's quite an increase. That is an increase of nearly a third, just because they've increased Social Security due to the COLA. So, Now, you may also pay higher taxes when selling a home now because of the inflation adjustment. Joint filers may exclude up to $500,000 of profit from capital gains taxes, and single sellers can shield up to $250K, provided they meet the ownership and use tests. But these amounts haven't changed since the 90s also, despite median home sales prices more than doubling for the past 20 years. So again, higher inflation equals the government taking more in to their coffers. The profit margin for median priced homes was 47%, according to the real estate data company Atom, which translates to $103,000 in gross profits for the typical home. Of course, profits may be higher depending on the market and original date of the purchase. These fixed limits are by design, said Berman. I think the intent was for that exemption level to decline in value over time. Basically, it's a way of phasing in a tax increase, or at least limiting the revenue costs. So it's a veiled tax increase. Another fixed provision is the thresholds for a 3.8 surcharge on investment income put in place by former President Obama to fund Obamacare. This was very interesting. President Trump came to office saying, hey, get rid of Obamacare. He tried, but they kept the Obamacare surcharge. The levy kicks in when couples with a modified adjustment gross income of $250, single filers of $200K, and those floors haven't been adjusted for inflation, creating a tax hike for high earners every year. Another controversial limit is the $10,000 limit on SALT taxes, which are state and local taxes. That hasn't changed since 2018. House Democrats passed a bump up to $80,000 as part of the Build Back Better plan, but the legislation is stalled indefinitely. It really does hammer lots of people depending on what state you live in. Some state taxes don't adjust for inflation. Some filers may also have higher state tax burdens in place without inflation adjustments or tax brackets. So here's the thing. Inflation is really hurting a lot of you, a ton of you, because taxes are going up, but in a veiled way. So what you need to do is take action. Think about where you want to be financially and where you are today. Are you paying too much in taxes? Do you not have a plan to keep up with rising inflation? Do you do have a plan? Do you do have an advisor, but you maybe need a second opinion? Well, call us today, 888-988-JOSH. So today, so far, we've taken listener questions. We're talking about the effects of inflation from Social Security to real estate taxes, now to state taxes. 41 states and DC taxes wages. 23 have at least one major unindexed tax provision, according to a Tax Foundation analysis, and 13 don't index any. That amounts to an unlegislated tax increase every year, reducing wage growth and return on investment, particularly during inflation periods. So there has been a lot of changes, from 401k laws, backdoor Roths may change, inflation hikes, Social Security. How do you keep up with this? Well, don't go it alone in retirement or in retirement planning. Maybe you're not yet retired, but you want help. You could be 20 years away, 10 years away. Start now. While unchanged provisions may sting certain taxpayers during inflationary periods, it's difficult to gauge the damage without a tax projection, adding that most people's returns have too many moving parts. So you're getting an unlegislated tax increase every year. And that's also why you want to diversify out of your 401k, because that's what's happening. So you need a tax plan for your 401k. You need to diversify into different tax buckets. There are 3 tax buckets: taxed as earned, tax deferred, and tax free. Build as much tax-free wealth as you can, because as you age, inflation is going to cause your net spendable income to go down. So call me during the break, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-5674 for your free 15 Ways to Save Taxes review. We're here for you now. Operators are standing by, 888-988-JOSH.
10.
Next up, we're going to talk about the huge tax bill incurred by the winner of the Mega Millions jackpot. So you're going to, if you didn't win, you dodged a huge tax bullet. We're going to talk about that later.
WOR and WAXQ HD2 New York, an iHeart radio station. Available everywhere on our free iHeart Radio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts.
There's no one more connected on the radio. That's why he's Mr. New York. Mark Simone, weekdays 10 to noon on the Voice of New York. 710 WOR.
An iHeart radio station.
It's 83 degrees at 10 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Paul DeCastro. Tragedy in Newark. 4 people are dead and 1 is critical following a 3-car crash early this morning. Cops responded to the fiery scene at Frelinghuysen and Evergreen Avenues at around 4:15 a.m. All 3 cars were engulfed in flames. Firefighters rescued 4 people trapped